Hello, my name is Pavel, and today I'm going to be talking about a bulletin board called Ice Chewers. Ice Chewers is about people who chew on ice, and it is a genuine and real addiction, often referred to as pica, I'm pretty sure, which is the obsession with chewing things. I've curated a couple stories from this that I think stand out and represent the board, and I'm going to read them off to you. So let's get into them. This first story isn't a story, it's a poll asking about what other types of picas people have. The top two are baking soda with 1 point and cornstarch with 1 point. The others are baking powder, sand/dirt, other food ingredients, other non-food items. Someone replied to this saying, "Seems like some of us ice lovers have other kinds of pica as well. For me, it's baking soda. I used to brush my teeth in it if I could see it during the day. I must take a lick of it. I have seen some people on this site mention cornstarch, but I wonder if there are other kinds of picas out there. So I would like to take a poll. By the way, I'm eating a 24-ounce tumbler of snowy shaved ice which has been processed through my rival's snow cone maker. I could eat 6 of these a day before my teeth start to tingle. I think I have eaten Alaska, laughing emoji. As defined by Mayo Clinic, pica is a medical term used by doctors to describe cravings or chewings of substances with no nutritional value, like ice, clay, soil, or paper. This, however, is commonly associated with things like iron deficiencies and anemia, which we will notice quite a lot of throughout this form. So this next story requires a little bit of context, that being that ice chewers are obsessed with the Sonic gas chain's ice. This apparently is really great ice. I cannot tell you if it's any good ice because I've never been to a Sonic. So let's get started on this one. Does Sonic sell their ice by the bag? Reply, yes, I'm ridiculously addicted to the ice. My company has an ice machine that disperses the ice where it is nearly like Sonic but softer. I buy 2 to 3 bags a week. I eat ice all day long. I've had people tell me that I'm anemic, it's pica, psychological, etc. I don't nearly snack as much or eat as much as I do. I have noticed I haven't lost any weight. Make sure that you tell them that Sonic to give you freshly made ice. The bag does refreeze. A little water will ease the hardness. Good luck. Reply, I am visiting the site for the first time as I sit here at work, doing what I am notorious for, chewing ice. This is the first post I saw, and I'm cracking up. Sonic has been the best ice on Earth aside from what I call rabbit turd ice. I know it sounds gross, but I am guessing if you love chewing ice like I do, you know what I mean. You know that ice that is soft but cylindrical in shape. Well, anywho, glad I found this site. Hopefully knowing that there are other people out here like me and I won't feel so strange about it. Reply, this site is the first place I've heard of that it's heard of Sonic's fabulous ice. There are no Sonics near me. I'm dying to know what I'm missing out on. It sounds like everyone agrees that Sonic ice is the best. End of story. This next post is about how to transport Sonic ice. Hi everyone, I come from a long line of chewers and got my wife hooked as well. We currently buy Sonic ice and make room in the outdoor freezer by throwing the food away. Haha, the nearest Sonic is 15 to 20 miles away, and the summer heat is making my ice melt a lot more than it should on the way home. When we then freeze it, half of the bag becomes a solid block of ice and is unusable. I was considering keeping a cooler in my trunk, but I'd like to buy 6 to 8 bags at a time, so I would keep 2 coolers in my trunk at all times, which is not practical at all because I golf a lot. I was wondering if anyone else has crossed this bridge and could offer some help so I'm not throwing away half of my ice. Collapsible cooler, or better yet, an insulated blanket so I could wrap it in for the trip. Any other solutions for a portable environment? Glad there are so many out there for us. I've been reading this site for a long time now. Freezing in Philly replies, possible solutions. Buy your own Scotsman pellet ice maker. They're very expensive, but consider the amount of time and money that you are using just to get the ice. It might be an option worth looking into. Plus, it would be so cool to have it on hand whenever you want. Fresh, no melting, and no hard refreezing. Or, you can make ice at home like I have. This may not be the right option for you as you and your wife are chewers and it may not be easy to make it in large batches. But the recipe is called Sonic Like Ice on this recipe section. There is no recipe section on this board, however, which I find funny. Until you find another way, you might just have to get coolers and start to get ice once a week. Get as much as you can to fit in those coolers. Then you could use cold salt water on the way home to keep the bags from melting, then refreezing once you get them into your freezer. Salt water can be colder than frozen ice, so using regular, non-Sonic ice, plus cold salt water in your coolers on the way home should help. Less trips, more usable ice, and you could only need the coolers in your car for the trip. Also, check the defrost on your freezer. That might be making the ice melt too much. Good luck, hope this helps, and happy chewing. So this next story is called My Crazy Story, and it's written absolutely horribly, so I will be stuttering quite a lot on this one. Well, mine began about 6 years ago. I had a gastric bypass and I loved ice. I started eating it in plastic water bottles, 30 to 40 a day. It became a real obsession for me, like a ritual. How the bottles were placed in the freezer, how many times I would shake them through the freezing process. I did that for about 3 years and I got real sick and I had blood clots in my lungs. They say that it might have been from the bottled water I was freezing, because I was told if you freeze bottled water, the plastics give off a toxin. So I stopped eating it that way. So a bit of a warning about freezing bottled water. So anyways, I eat at least two 15-pound bags of ice a day, if not more, depends on the day. I always thought I was crazy, but I was the only one that was obsessed with eating ice. But it's not really ice. Everything that I drink has to be frozen. I'm talking pop, milk, everything but mostly ice. I don't feel comfortable unless I have a container of ice next to me at all times. I even wake up in the middle of the night for ice. So mine might be a bit worse, but I'm glad to know that there are more people out there who love ice just as much as me. I'm totally not crazy, and the funny thing is, it is ruining my teeth. And I am in a lot of pain, and it doesn't matter. I still eat ice, and I'm going to have to deal with it anyways. I am very anemic with the operation. I am anemic and only have one kidney. So take the iron through injections, because it makes me so sick. So glad I found this site. Makes me feel a lot better about myself that I'm not the only person out there. Thank you very much. I think it goes without saying that you shouldn't eat ice, period, because of the teeth ruining effects. I've heard on this board as well that a man called, I think, Hangtooth or something like that, lost two molars because of his chewing habits. Which, yeah, just don't chew on ice, period, I guess. This next story is called I Can't Chew Ice. Hello, everybody. I write this because I can't chew any ice. My teeth are trying to kill me whenever I try. So can anyone give me any advice? I thought about wrapping my teeth in little cloths or something. Thanks. I asked these questions on Just Answer. This is a dentist's reply. If your teeth are in good health, no decay or erosion on the outer enamel, ice or shaved as ice cones shouldn't be a problem. You will experience sensitivities in areas where there is loss in enamel. It would be better if you could visit a doctor or get your teeth checked out, basically for intactness on the outer layer. A layer of enamel, blah blah blah, this is explaining enamel. If desensitized toothpaste or desensitizing mouthwash doesn't work, your dentist may suggest in-office techniques. A fluoride gel, which will strengthen tooth enamel or reduce any transmission sensations, may be applied to the area, in cases which sensitivity is severe and persistent, cannot be treated by any other means. If your doctor represents endodontic, root canal, treatment to eliminate the problems. This removes the nerves from the tooth, thereby removing any sensation. I have been using suggested toothpaste, and within 2 weeks I didn't notice a difference. Mr. Bao, Treya at gmail.com. That was a reply to that from a site called Just Answer, as I previously stated. I don't think any legitimate dentist would say that, but on to the next story. So a quick heads up for the final story. This will mention rape, child trafficking, murder, generally just fucked up topics, which is why I saved it for last, although it does have a little bit of funny moments into it. Other than that, yeah, you should probably just leave the video from here. This story is called, Does Ice Turn You On Sexually? Due to its length, I will do periodic breaks. One time, when I noticed my wife pouring some ice into water, I had asked her, why was she putting ice cubes in the water instead of chewing on them? When I saw the ice just sitting in the cup melting, it got me kind of aroused watching those cubes swish around in that water. I was about to orgasm at the sight of those sexy cubes. I had to get out of there. I went back to bed and found myself having dreams about the ice cubes killing my wife and raping me. It was a weird dream, but it made me orgasm all over the cats and dogs in the room. So for weeks, I had been fantasizing about ice. When one day, I found a site devoted to sexual acts of ice called icescrewing.net. I had been masturbating to it for weeks when I finally realized I had ice in the freezer. I took some ice out of the tray and started chewing on some. So innocent, did not deserve to be chewed on. When I started rubbing the ice on my scrotum, my testicles about to burst, and putting some in my anus. It was really hard trying to keep the cubes in my butthole while I was rubbing some on my scrotum. So I finished a few hours later, and my wife came home with new bags of ice. It was hard, again. I'd asked my wife if she could have sex with me. She said sure. We were both naked, and I had asked her if she could violate me with the cubes of ice. She told me that was really kinky and had agreed to it. Oh, as she shoved those poor innocent cubes into my aching rectum, I thought my wife I thought that I hated my wife and I want to kill her hard. So while she was sleeping, I took some ice and put it in the cup next to my bed while I hacked into her neck with an axe, the same axe I had used to kill the cats and dogs. I sold my children into sex trafficking business and shoved ice cubes in my ass and masturbated right in front of them. Then I watched them as they were being raped, hard with giant dildo bats like the ones from Saints Row 3. And beat until one of the girls had to fight back, in which case he took a butcher's knife and started to skin her, forcing her to give him a blowjob. Then, my other girl was injected with some type of paralysis serum. The man's name was Steve, by the way. Threw her on the bed and started to saw her in half. Meanwhile, I'm just rubbing ice on my scrotum, and had mirrors on the ceiling. She had watched herself get mutilated. She couldn't scream either because the serum took her voice away. So anyways, I took the ice into a church where we got married and lived happily ever after. So then the talent agent stands up. Yes, this swapped over to being fictional. The talent agent stands up and asks, "What will this be called?" And I tell him, "The Aristocrats." This is not even on topic. So, all in all, this board was pretty funny, kind of sad in the moments that people would be ruining their teeth. I guess for some people, informing, because you would learn about shit like pica. And I think the last one that was mentioned was pretty fucked up, and I'd rather not mention it again. However, I guess some parts of it was funny. It was just very much a standout moment. Other than that, I hope you enjoyed the video in one way or another, and have a good rest of your day, and Christmas if that is your day today.